The second video we're going to look at is a short video off of a channel called Alex White. At the time of this video, he has 178 subscribers, and he only has 4 views on this video that was released only 2 days ago, or as of the time of this video, only a few hours ago. So let's watch this video and see how good it is. All right, here we go. Okay, I'm going to stop this right there. And I know we're only 5 seconds into the video. If you notice, the girl started standing up. She made no sound at all until she dropped on her knees and was right next to the guy. And she says something. This video is taking place in another language. She says something and then kisses him. So all of the audio that we care about is on the left hand. Anything the right hand gets is not useful. All he's doing is phasing with 2 microphones, and it's going to create a Post nightmare because Post is going to be saying which microphone is going to sound better. Well, you have 2 hands, one in each hand. One hand is going to be getting good audio. The other one you can't focus on. Anytime you see someone with 2 microphones controlled in 2 different hands, it's not going to end up being to their benefit. He should just concentrate on one microphone, putting that where it needs to be, especially because the only audio that they're going to care about and use is in his left hand. So let's actually watch that from the beginning and you'll see what I'm talking about. Oh, this video took place about 11 years ago. So it's an old video. I don't know why it was only uploaded a few hours ago, but who knows? See how she jumped down on the ground next to him or on the bed next to him and then said her line? She didn't say anything until that point. There's no point to have a microphone on her above it. Back it up again. He's in the wrong place with the microphones. He should be more towards her because his head turn was all the way back towards her. So if he would have kicked the boom out in front of him more to get more of the 2 planes of their faces, he's not going to be booming from behind him. Phasing. Okay. This right here, he was totally in the wrong place. He's not getting anything. The audio is going to suddenly sound like it's at the other side of the room, and then it's going to come right back because the camera operator blasted through there with the camera. If he had a boom, he would have been in a much better position. Is that what you needed to? Okay. I'm not impressed. Not impressed with this technique at all. He went up and over the camera operator, then up and over again. If he had a boom, he could have easily stayed in front of and behind, in front of the lens and behind the camera at the same time off the frame. I'm going to watch this one more time. And if he had a boom, he could have easily cued it towards him, more perspective of the camera. And then he could have had it more in front of him. And right now he's on his back. So he could have easily brought the boom around and he's on his back again. Then she turned his head back toward the camera. He should be more in front, not from the side. She comes up behind, she's being playful, she pulls him back, and the camera operator blasts up. And that laugh that she just gave straight to camera is going to be totally off axis because he brings the boom up, or the microphone up. To me, this is something that if he would have planned on it, it would have been so much better than hand holding 2 microphones. That's not good. Even if he wanted to play it better, it would have played completely better if he would have been on the other side of the operator, even if he was just to the left of the operator and extended out. Now, I do see that there's shadows on the back wall coming through this window, but his shadow is not going against the back wall, meaning that they're not lighting it from someplace right over here. Otherwise, this operator would cast a shadow on the wall there, and he would be casting a shadow in front of her. It's all playing straight off of that light there. You can even see the shadow on the side of him. So there was no reason he couldn't have played it from the left-hand side of the camera operator and gotten everything so much better. So this is just a missed opportunity. The last video we're going to look at is on a channel called TRIFLIX Team. And at the time of this video, they have 27 subscribers and 44 views on this video that was released on February 25th, 2021, entitled Boom Operator Shot Breakdown Hard Truth Distillery BTS. So let's see. I watched the first few seconds of it, and there is parts of this video I'm going to have to fast forward through. But I did think that there was a couple of things that I would probably want to talk about, but I literally only watched about the first minute of this video. So let's go ahead and blast into this video a little ways so that way we can get into the content.
This was the first time I had ever been a boom operator. And, you know, of course, we've done shoots before for our own company.
Okay, I know he's preparing the boom and getting it ready, but he has it on the floor. Not a great place to do it. You could easily have extended it up. He's in a brewery with a high ceiling. He could have gone vertical with it and leaned it up against some of the barrels back there, and it would have been a lot better to do than putting it on the ground. Normally, the reason why you don't want to do that is because someone could step on it. Granted, it's probably not going to be the case in this scenario because there doesn't seem to be very many crew members there, but still, I don't like to see booms on the floor. It's a very, very, very cringe thing for me. But you know what? You got to do what you got to do. And these guys are definitely novice. So, I mean, I'm going to be more easy going on them.
And we've done audio, so I was experienced there. But one of the best things that I had...
All right, that's a very thin XLR cable he's using, and I doubt it's a Star Quad or one of the L4E5C cables by Canary. I don't think it's probably one of those, but I could be mistaken on that. First of all, a couple of things he's doing that I'm not happy about is he's turning his back on the camera. That means he can't see where that camera is. The talent is actually looking straight up at the microphone. If he were to come closer to the camera over there, he could perhaps look and peek on the monitor and see what the shot looks like and bring the boom closer. Notice how high it is in front of him while he's still holding it fairly relaxed in front of him. Well, the camera's low on this side too. If he were to be facing the camera, he could still hold his hands in front of him rather low and comfortable, and he could dial in on the exact height using the boom as like a pivot point.
A little bit of foresight to do was have scratch audio. You can see it in this shot here with that dead cat. That's the name of the wind cover that goes over a mic. That just got us a lot of good scratch audio in case maybe that
All right, you see that monitor right there? You can actually see that the headroom is not that high. So being that we are in an environment where there's a lot of hard surfaces. There's a high ceiling there. You're going to catch, because this is a short shotgun microphone, you're going to catch a little bit of reflection off the ground if you're square to the ground. But if you were to come in front of the actor a little bit more and then angle back more towards him, you're going to end up getting, first of all, underneath the edge of that hat a little bit better. And it's going to be getting more on the front face plane of the actor. And you could still get the boom rather low and close to the mouth. So I would have probably opted for that.
One thing that I've been wanting to try for a long time is these Deity microphones, but they're like $250, and that's what's actually on the end of this boom pole. It actually exceeded my expectations. It was probably on par with our Zoom H5N. However, this was a little bit of a cheaper model than...
Okay, I'm gonna H5N and a Deity, I'm assuming S Mic 2 or probably the Mini on this one, the S Mic 2S. Those are not on the same page at all. Those are not on the same, even scale as the microphones on top of an H5N. Even if you use the dead cat, as they say, which is more of just a furry, it's not going to be the same, man. You definitely want to use the boom. The Deity is going to be so much better than the Zoom in this particular environment. That Zoom is far away and getting perspective sound from camera. You might as well just use a camera mic at that point. And it's not going to compare at all to the Deity, which was being boomed overhead.
Yeah, so when we got to this part of the shoot, it was the most difficult part, and I know especially for Tristan, and it's just like walking through here and trying to have the uneven ground with the trees, and he was still trying to get consistent audio.
Okay. Poor guy here. I know exactly what he's going through with all the trees and stuff in the way. I was mistaken. It's not the S Mic 2 that he's dealing with. He probably has the location kit on the Deity V-Mic D3 Pro is what it looks like. It's very small, low profile. The cable's going down to what looks like a Zoom H5 is what they said, but it's coming in the side. So that tells me that it's a quarter, or rather an 1/8 inch input or 3.5 millimeter input. So he's not even going in XLR. That tells me that they're using that particular Deity. Now, here's the interesting thing on this is he is completely behind now because this tree has put him, off. That's a problem. And if you're in this kind of scenario, you may want to be on the side in order to get him properly, but you're going to have to play in line with the camera and just walk behind camera because you have zero chance of getting consistent audio tracks if you do it this way.
Yeah, after like the third tree of ducking in, and I was like, we have to shoot this a different way. I realized, this audio is going to sound like crap unless we change our shoot method. So I told the guy,
It looks like a fishing rod. It's not. It just has the recorder mounted to the actual boom pole itself. That's what he's doing there. Had to figure that one out.
Colin Abel, the director, we got to find a different walking path or condense the audio. He needs to take pauses in between. And then I left it up to him as the director to make the decision on how to go about it.
Okay, that's great. It's great that they had a director that was willing to work with you. Now, one of the other things that you could do is if he says, I really like the way that particular walk looked, well, why don't you break up the audio a little bit? Have the first half of it there, then the second half of it in this other location. That breaks it up a little bit for the actor. It also would break it up a little bit better in the edit, and it looks like you have higher production value for more cuts. Now, I'm a little bit troubled by this because he's very, very high. I don't think that they're holding that high a headroom, even though he is walking next to the camera operator. Now, he's also facing the wrong way. I would definitely turn around and face the other way. That way you have your eye on that camera operator at all times.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's sometimes what people forget. It's like, oh, I'm just supposed to be here, shut up and do my job.
Okay. He's also, one thing that I'm noticing right now is that he's on the wrong side. You would normally want to be up on the hill when you're booming. Right now, he's down the hill, so it's going to make it even more difficult for him to boom. I know that the shadows are probably not going in his favor. It looks like the sun is definitely on the left-hand side of the frame based on the way that the shadows are falling on the right-hand side of the trees in the background. So the sun is definitely up here. But if he's back walking in this particular area here with the pole extended, he can still keep that boom out in front and the shadow will cast over that way. So not going to be as big of a deal as it would be if it were coming in straight from behind the camera operator.
But it's like, hey, we need to check this shot again because I'm just not going to be able to get good, consistent audio.
They'll never go for that in post, even though it would sound potentially pretty good, being that it's that close to the mouth.
I mean, I applied some color grading to it, of course, but like the dynamic range of the Nikon Z6 is pretty solid.
Yes. Now I will say, so what you called the thing on the end of the zoom again?
These items are called dead cats. They go over the end of a microphone.
What on earth is he doing? What is he holding there? He's holding a tripod with there's a string or something hanging down, and that's a different microphone. That's not the Deity. That is, I don't know what that is, but that's not a dead cat, even though they keep referring to it. It's a fuzzy windscreen. There's a difference. There's something hanging down. You'll see this string hanging down and keeps hitting the furry.
To prevent
you see that?
Blowing directly into the mic itself.
What is that? Oh, it's his headphones, his earbuds. I hope he was playing on that because that's terrible.
Outdoors, don't use them because the hair fibers might blow from AC units or just airflow in the room, and then it makes more noise than it cuts out.
One of the things that was kind of new for me is...
1 second now.
Because the hair fibers might blow from AC units or just airflow in the room, and then it makes more noise than it cuts out.
Wrong. That's very wrong. If there is wind blowing from an air conditioning unit or something like that inside, and it's enough to blow the fibers around on the dead cat, as they say it, then you definitely want to keep it on there because the wind is too much hitting that could make the microphone pop. So it's not an issue to leave that on and all. It's not going to blow around the wind fiber or the fibers of the fur enough for you to hear it. That's totally wrong. If anything, if there's wind is that much, you definitely want to leave it on there to protect the microphone. That kind of position right there hurts. You see, you can actually see the cable is being maintained there, and then it's actually going into the side here. One of those is his headphones, and one of those is the microphone itself. It's an extension cable. That's not going to be great running a 25 or a 50-foot cable, whatever length that is. It's over 20. Well, it's probably about a 25 based on how thin it is and stuff. But coming out of the end of the location kit on the VMic D3 Pro, you want to try to use a smaller cable if you can, or even better yet, put the recorder up closer to the microphone. I know that doesn't let you actually monitor it, but it'd be better for you to run the extension on your monitor cable than it would be for you to run an extension going into the microphone itself, or into the recorder itself from the microphone, simply because the microphone, you want to have the best signal, and that's going to be through a shortest cable, especially if it's being recorded right there, the source. But being that it's not going wireless at all, it's going to probably make it sound about as good as it possibly can.
Day, and it was long, and he just had to sit. Tristan was just sitting there, and I could see his arms shaking, like he just nothing.
I don't know what that frame is, but you see the guys are in shadows. They're completely shadowed right there. Being that they're entirely in shadow, there's no reason he has to be on this position. Look at the trees right here. The light is hitting this side of this tree, meaning the sun is front lighting it. Now, he could have been there and they could be concerned about his shadows starting to crawl up into this area here, but the sun is definitely over on the left-hand side right now, and if he has to play it at this height, then he should want to probably boom from this other side at this point, because there's more room over there than there is over here, and that way he could play lower. He can actually play lower with the boom and not hold it over his head. What he's doing right there is killing himself.
But stuck to it the whole time, and we did multiple takes.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I think we did 2 takes, and each of them were 5 minutes, and this was after like an 8 or 9 hour day, and it's just holding this boom pole over your head. If you are a boom pole operator, don't like rely on muscles to hold it over your head. You want to rely on like the joints if you're locking your...
Good Lord, why is he saying so high? I don't think the frame is that high. If they're framing with that one camera, I think it's probably going to be tighter if it's on these 3 guys. They're not going to be holding a really super wide shot unless they're trying to frame in the whole distillery. And if that's the case, the cameras have been very low. The camera position has been very low. There's still no shadows over here on this dude. So if there's no shadows at all and they're overexposing the background on the frame to expose their skin properly, then definitely don't boom from that position. Boom from the front. That way you can keep it lower, and you can also get the boom a little bit closer to their heads. Right now, you're up in the roof there, dude.
Your joints, all of that weight's going to go straight down. There are boom poles.
See how low that is? The cameras are like right here. They're like at just above waist level, at stomach level. If he came over there, he could easily hold the boom 1.5 feet or so higher than the frame, and it's going to be great. You can see exactly where the shadows are now, by the way.
With the option to run the cabling inside the pole, that is highly recommended.
I take that back. Looking at it, I thought you could, but the shadows, it's so diffused right there underneath it. The sun is almost directly overhead, it looks like, except that it's diffused. There's no hard shadows pointed like underneath here going in any direction. So I was mistaken when I said that. But as soon as I looked at it, I figured it out.
Boom poles with the option to run the cabling inside the pole, that is highly recommended. 2, you can get Velcro strips to help cable manage, so once you have your
That's a good point. I forgot about the Velcro strips. He's spot on that. You can easily do that, wrap it around there, or like cable ties. That works too. I forgot about that one. I've always been using lasty bands or bongo ties, but he's right. Velcro also works.
Phone for audio monitoring, you can have that actually tied to the pole so it's not falling down.
Yeah.
And then 3rd, I haven't tried this, but I would like to try out Bluetooth audio monitoring. Now, there's minor issues with latency.
Yes.
And then also, of course, connection drops. So if you did a Bluetooth or wireless option, you'd want to make sure that you have a premium brand, premium quality products. So that
even then, you want to stay clear of Bluetooth. You don't want to do any kind of Bluetooth monitoring. That you're just asking for a lot of different kinds of troubles there. Don't do that at all unless you absolutely have to. And in that case, first of all, it's going to throw you off hearing a delay in your headphones versus the people that are on set. It's going to be a bad delay, like up to 1/4 second or something like that. But what I would say is if you have to do something like that, you better put your recorder on this end, very close to the end of the boom. That way your boom, your microphone goes right into your recorder at the end of the boom, and then it Bluetooth transmits to your headphones. That way you don't have a lot of cable management and stuff you have to deal with there, but I would strongly recommend steering clear of Bluetooth monitoring. That's a disaster waiting to happen.
Yep. You don't have any issues like that. I hope you guys found this entertaining or educational or inspiring.
So it sounds like they had a pretty fun time with their shoot, and that's good. Now, granted, I'm going to put the links to all 3 of these videos down in the description. If you liked what you saw here, tell me in the comments below. If you felt it was educational, feel free to go to their channels. There's a couple of small channels here. Let them, show them the love. Go there, watch their actual video, And I mean, who knows? They might be subscribed to this channel. They might have found this video and said, wait a second now, and they might be learning from it. Who knows? But you know what? They're not doing bad. I think that for a small company that it looks like they're kind of figuring things out for themselves and doing things, geeking out in their own little way, I think that they're doing all right. I mean, it's again, not professional. They're not pros, but they don't know what they don't know. There's opportunities for improvement here, and perhaps they'll learn a little bit from this reaction video if they ever see it. So this time I didn't get bitter. I didn't get angry and start screaming and yelling and any of that kind of stuff and my blood pressure spiking. So I'm actually pleased about that personally. Hopefully there was some learning opportunities and you learned some from this yourself. In the comments below, feel free to tell me what your thoughts are. And there's links down in the description to all 3 of these videos. And I also put some cards in there. And at the end of this video, you're going to see some cards to some of the videos that I made reference to in this video that are other archived videos that I have here on this channel. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Sound Speech. Be sure to tune in the future for more reaction videos, educational content, and sound advice. Have a question you'd like answered or want to add something? Be sure to write it in the comment section down below. You can also make a suggestion for future topics of discussion. Again, comment section down below, or you can email me at soundspeeds@yahoo.com. Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss out on future sound advice.